Growing up, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for a career. I went to college in 2004 for digital animation and game design. It seemed to appeal to me, it would allow me to be creative and do my own thing. But the more I studied and the more I looked into it, the more classes I took and the more years I spent doing it, the more I realized it was not a good career choice. People had to put in a lot of effort, and only the cream of the crop was selected. And even then, even if you were selected, you probably wouldn't go work for Pixar or anything. You'd probably be working on the Bratz movies, which, if you don't remember those, though it's like a worse version of Barbie. You just make garbage. You just make garbage. That's all you do. Your skills would be used to make garbage. And I didn't want to spend more time than I had already done making garbage, so I dropped out. Later in life, I would play a video game called Fallout New Vegas. Some of you may have heard of it. It's a very good game if you haven't heard of it. It takes place in the distant future after a nuclear war broke out, and you can explore the ruins of America after they've been trying to rebuild for quite some time. So you're exploring Nevada in the year 2287. You go over to Hoover Dam, which is an actual place you can visit, and see how it survived the war and what has happened to it since then as people have tried to rebuild society and recreate civilization. You can go to the remnants of Las Vegas. It's still very pristine, so you can check out a couple casinos. It's obviously not 100% faithful to what Las Vegas looks like, but it's still a fun concept. It's a fun thing to walk around and explore. And that game is beloved by many. A lot of people really, really enjoy that game, and they make additional content in their spare time. These are called mods, modifications. They allow the individual to create their own quests, their own characters, and put them into the game. They can voice them themselves, give them their own dialogue, and make them say whatever. And so the game just keeps on growing and growing as more people make more mods, more things for other people to do. We're all making mods for each other, and we're all enjoying each other's mods, and there's a large, almost infinite, it's constantly growing, a large amount of content for this one game that at this point is 10 years old. And I remember a few years ago playing a mod called New Vegas Bounties 2. The sequel to the first New Vegas Bounties, and it was a great mod. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it. It is very well done, and it was made by pretty much one guy, just drinking by his computer, making things for other people to play, and it was loved by many. It's one of the best mods for New Vegas. It is. A lot of people would agree on that. But making mods was never really a career choice. You could set up a donation page so people could leave you a tip, but you're not going to make hundreds of dollars doing this. This is a passion project. It's a thing you do because you want to express yourself creatively and not because you're expecting to get paid. At least that's how it was. A few years ago, the company that makes Fallout New Vegas announced that they would be having a creator program so people could make mods and get paid to make mods. And I heard that and my eyes lit up. I thought this could be a legitimate career path. It could be a new career, new opportunity. Nobody had made a career making mods before, so this is a brand new way to make a career, and I thought this is going to be great. I might become one of the premier modders for New Vegas. I was excited. And then the actual program was released, and it turns out, no, it was just a way for the company to take things out of the game and sell it back to you, take things that had previously been free and put them on a store for you to buy. So it wasn't making any new content, and I still didn't see modding as a viable career at that point, which is a shame, because I could see my life being a little different if I thought it was a viable career. I could have seen myself being a modder as my career. Sadly, being a modder is not a career. I don't think it will be. I don't think it'll ever be at this rate. Not with companies being so focused on how much they can charge you and how much they can suck out of the community as opposed to what they can help create. So that is a shame. At least for now, modding remains a passion project. It's not a thing you expect to do to get paid. But just last month, one of the biggest mods for Fallout New Vegas was released. It was called Fallout the Frontier, and it was large. It was advertised by the creators as being as large as an official downloadable content piece of media. As big as the official add-ons were for New Vegas, this fan-made project was going to be just as big. And I played a little bit of it, and they undersold it. The map might be as big, but there was a lot of content, a lot of things to do, a lot of voice work, a lot of things crammed into this mod. It is bursting at the seams. This is not one person making a mod. This is several people, lots of people contributing to this mod and working on it for 7 years. 7 years making something for fun, I guess. You just want to express yourself, make something fun for everyone else to enjoy, and they did it. Not many of these projects actually see the light of day at the end of the tunnel, but they did. They released it, and it came out, and it was great. It was so popular, and so many people wanted to play it that it actually crashed the site that it was being hosted on. It was great to see that project finally be finished, and Zach and I were looking forward to playing it more. But unfortunately, after release, one of the developers turned out to be a little scummy, so the project had to be taken down. The group decided that they didn't want to be associated with this person anymore, so they took the project back down, and they were taking out the things he had put in. He would be cut out of the project. At the same time, there were a few moments in the game that some people found questionable. Fallout New Vegas has always been a dark game, a very bleak game with dark themes, but being in this mod, that was a step too far for a lot of people. And to be honest, it may not have been done in the best manner. People may have a lower tolerance for that kind of thing if it's not handled in the best way, but it's not too far removed from the base game. It fits in fairly well. But unfortunately, a lot of people ran with it, and a lot of negativity started to circulate about this mod. It just sucks to watch the whole thing collapse. You know, people have been working on this project, many people have been working on this project, for hours out of their week, for weeks out of their months, for months out of their years, for years out of their lives. Multiple people worked very hard on what is a huge, huge mod. There's a lot of stuff here, a lot of revolutionary stuff, and it's just packed full of things to find, lots of great things. I could play this game for 40 hours, and I'm sure I wouldn't overturn every rock. It's huge. And to see it all be torn down by 2 or 3 screenshots taken out of context, people throwing a fit about things they don't like being in there, it's really frustrating to watch that happen. But in the end, all these people yelling about how bad the game is, clutching pearls about how much this content shouldn't be in here, yelling about how this is the worst mod, a dumpster fire, they'll move on. They're fueled by outrage, and they will move on to the next thing to be outraged about. And everyone else will continue to enjoy it. I will continue to play Fallout the Frontier, and I will continue to have a good time, and I will not be the only one. This might not be the outcome that the modders wanted. They may have wanted to be widespread and known as being one of the best pieces of Fallout fan content of all time, and that probably won't happen at this point, because there's always going to be a bunch of people yelling about pedophilia being in the game, even though there's not, or the thing that they don't like being in the game. How dare they put this thing in there? It doesn't fit. This is not my Fallout. This is not the Fallout I want. And they will yell forever. There's nothing we can do about that. But the people that want to play this mod will continue playing this mod, and they'll continue having a great time, and a community will form around it, and the community will grow. But I do wonder how this incident might affect the future of modding, because it already was not a viable career path. Is it a viable path for passion projects anymore? To know you can spend years out of your life, put your heart and soul into something like this, and then have people tear it down angrily, viscerally, shred it to pieces, and then smear feces all over it and say this is garbage. How dare you try to do this? I hope once the fervor dies down, the outrage subsides, and the angry people move on, that Fallout Frontier is known not for the things it got done poorly, but for all the good things that were put into it, because there is a lot of good stuff here. A lot of fun writing, a lot of fun characters were created, some really interesting quests with multiple endings and multiple outcomes to the quests and different factions you could work for. They put a lot of effort into this, and it definitely shows. And I hope, once all is said and done, people continue to make mods for this game and other games that I enjoy. I hope that creators and people that have a creative spirit aren't disincentivized by these petulant children angry that the game is not the game that they wanted. Those people don't matter. The angry people don't matter. The people that enjoy what you make, they're the ones that matter. And they might not be the loudest ones, but they are the more important ones.